with that, we're going to get right into it. Do you want to start with the?
You tell me what you want to start with.
Let's start with let's work our way up, and we'll go from Rookie of the Year, Vezina, Hart, and then we'll go conference winners and Stanley Cup. We'll get your
all right. Rookie of the Year. I feel it's a competitive year. There's a lot of great rookies in the league. I mean, the Penguins have their number one pick was 18, starting as a third line center, which is like crazy.
I was looking at the
Ben Kindle, amazing.
I was looking at the odds, and I was hoping to see him a little higher, but
but he's steady, but he's a 200-foot player, so he's not going to flash in terms of score. I think 11 goals, 12 goals.
Yeah, but it's the way I look at it. Not to cut you off, but I think that I know that the Penguins are overplaying this year, or over succeeding their expectations.
Oh, they're way above their pay grade right now. Yep.
When you think about like an MVP award, it's the most valuable player to that team. When you think about the Rookie of the Year, like that's why I was saying I thought this Penguins rookie should have been a little higher, just because I feel like his impact is pretty significant.
I would agree. And I, as a guy that watches him every night, when you just see he plays way beyond his years, so it's fun to watch that. And the development, and the Penguins are ahead of schedule. I mean, Kyle Dubas has done a great job of kind of revamping the roster on the fly, because they're in a rebuild, but they're doing it on the fly because with aging stars like Sidney Crosby, Chris Letang, Evgeny Malkin, they got a short window. So I think they're trying to be competitive. I'm not sure they can get there before these guys retire, but they're certainly moving in the right direction. But when it comes to Rookie of the Year, it's very good. Ben Kindle's right in there, but I mean, there's some really amazing rookies. I hate to say it as an anti-Canadian fan, but Ivan Demidov leading in points, along with and you also have Beckett Seneca. So there's two guys that are leading in points. You have an interesting goaltender in Minnesota named Jesper Wallstedt, who's right up there statistically with a lot of the other goalies. But I think we are talking about the number one overall pick, who I've watched a couple of times this year and has really been lights out. Matt, what is his name?
Schaefer.
Matt Schaefer. Yeah,
Matt Schaefer.
And you know what? People question at that time, with number one overall pick. I know there was some discussions about when the Islanders were picking him, but he was clearly the right pick. And you watch him this year, and he's a smooth skater, can anchor the power play at 18 years old, logging 20-plus minutes a night. He's got over 30 points as a defenseman, as a rookie. So it's got to be Matt Schaefer.
I like Wallstedt, the goalie.
Yeah, he's great.
And I thought that was another one I was keeping my eye on for potential Calder Trophy winner. But I think it's Schaefer. If you look at the odds right now, they're creating their own category for Schaefer versus the field.
Yeah, well, and that's just, I mean, he's a difference maker. But Jesper Wallstedt, he's made the Wild. I mean, you look at the moves that Bill Guerin has made up there.
Yes.
The big swing for Quinn Hughes. And he's not afraid to make those big deals like that. He's got a great goaltending tandem now with Philip Gustafsson, former Penguins prospect.
It's
who's
funny,
a great goalie. That's right.
When we came,
the Gus Bus, we call him.
When we came in on Monday after the Winter Olympics, you came up to me and said, "Man, no one's got to be happier than Billy Guerin." That was like the first thing you said to me. So,
right. One has the GM of Team USA.
Right. But of course, like with the Wild, with the way Quinn Hughes performed during the Olympics and stuff, he's probably living on cloud nine right now.
He is lights out. And again, the goaltending combination, because Wallstedt has come on, you had, Gustafsson already there established. They signed him long term. They have a great dude. I mean, I got to tell you, the Wild are going to be players in the West this year. I'm just saying that.
We'll have to keep our eyes out. And you can check out our power rankings when J-Dog returns. Of course, he'll have the NHL power rankings after next week. But I think that does it. We both agree, Matt Schaefer, for Calder Trophy Rookie of the Year. Let's move on to Vezina, one of my favorites, a former goalie here.
Right.
I did see Igor on the list, Rangers goaltender, but I know that he is not going to be
Durkin. That's not his year.
No, I know. And I know
the other goalie, the Russian goalie across the street.
Yes.
The Islanders goalie.
Yes. The Islanders are.
Ilya Sorokin is having a dynamite year. He really is.
He's having an incredible year. He is right now the favorite for the Vezina Trophy. However, I don't know what Doc's choice was, but I chose Andrei Vasilevsky.
That's my pick. That's my pick. He is, if you look at his stats just right now, he's number one in wins with 28, goals against at 2.11, and he's second in save percentage at 9.21. So, and it's only 0.1 percentage point. Yeah, he's been lights out again this year. Former Stanley Cup champion, and he's playing at an elite level right now.
He's playing at Stanley Cup champion level. I mean, if you look at the Lightning, they are the dominant team in the East.
Yep.
And I think that when you talk about hockey, the best teams have the best goaltending.
Well, I would say I'd throw the Hurricanes. Clearly, if you look at the league, the West is just a juggernaut. I mean, it's just loaded. The East is pretty weak, when you look in comparison. So I think there's two teams we can talk about. when we get to that point. But I think you're looking at the Hurricanes and the Tampa Bay Lightning as the East.
I think so. We're giving it to Andre for our Vezina Trophy.
Correct.
Yeah, our Vezina Trophy winner. Let's move on to the Hart Trophy because we didn't discuss this off air. We discussed those other two awards and our thoughts, but this one we didn't discuss. And I have someone here that I think has a good shot at it. The odds are showing that it might be sort of running away with one person right now. Doc, who do you got winning the Hart Trophy for MVP?
It's funny when you look at, because obviously last year, again, why he won the gold medal. Connor Hellebuyck was the MVP, the Hart Trophy, and so the MVP, obviously, and he got the Vezina Trophy, which is the best goaltender in the league. Right. So he won that as well as the overall MVP, which doesn't happen a lot with goaltenders.
Right.
Most times it's a forward, exactly.
You gotta be really good.
Yeah, just showed. But if we're talking this year, he was the MVP of the Olympics, and he is the best player in the National Hockey League. He's playing at that elite level. He's carried his team to back-to-back Stanley Cup finals. I'm not going to give it away, but I don't think he's taken there this year, but it's Connor McDavid. Yeah,
I also chose Connor McDavid. Yep. We didn't discuss this.
Nope.
I think Nate McKinnon is leading the odds race right now. I think he's in front, but I think that's because he's leading the league in goals.
Yeah, he's got the goals, but they're
right. But McDavid's got the points.
Correct.
And I think that's going to be the big difference. And McDavid, again, I talked about it just a few minutes ago, but when you talk about MVP, whatever sport it is, it's most valuable player. Who is the most valuable player to their team? I mean, without a doubt, Connor McDavid is one of the greatest hockey players I've ever seen. Yep. You know, obviously want to support Team USA, want to be American, but man, this dude can play hockey.
You got to tip your cap. And if you're a hockey fan, you have to love the brilliance of Connor McDavid.
Oh, yes.
I'm a Sidney Crosby fan, obviously. He's passed the torch to the new king of hockey. And it's no doubt you watched in the Olympics, and he was the best player on the ice every single night.
Yes.
For the whole tournament. I can see where you'd say Hellebuyck, but if you look in the entire tournament, the guy carried Canada, and they lost Crosby, and he was still, he got to see and really did all he could do to get him there.
And think about, it just replays in my head over and over him in the Stanley Cup finals when they lost, not when they were eliminated, but they were, I think it was the night before Game 7 or something, that first year they went. His passion. That's one thing that I love about McDavid too, is when he speaks to the team, when he talks about hockey, when he hits the ice, it is nothing but passion. He just wants to win. And I just, nothing but respect for him. And I think that he's going to end up winning that Hart Trophy this year.
And he deserves it. Yes. It's his time.
So let's move on then.
Okay.
We're narrowing down our futures here. We have done our trophy winners, our Calder Trophy, Vezina Trophy, Hart Trophy.
There's a couple more trophies I want to do too.
Right. If you want to go ahead, give us your
the
thoughts.
Norris Trophy.
Yep.
Obviously the best defenseman in the league.
Yes.
Which Cale Makar, who in the Olympics on that big play 3-on-3 was breaking out for the 2-on-1 when McKinnon lost the puck.
Yep.
To Werenski. But Cale Makar, probably the best defenseman in the National Hockey League. But I got to tell you, watching what Quinn Hughes has done, moving from Vancouver to the Wild, and the impact he's had on the Wild, and how well he's playing right now, I'm gonna pick Quinn Hughes.
Nice,
brother of Jack, the golden goal.
I didn't write down my Norris Trophy or my Rocky Richard or Art Ross. I don't know if you have those down.
I do.
But the Norris, I did check the odds. I think Quinn Hughes is leading the odds. I'd probably pick him as my Norris Trophy winner too. I mean, again, I'm a big fan of momentum and superstition kind of thing. And it's like, you're coming off that win in the Winter Olympics.
Yep.
Team USA, your brother is the face of hockey. He had that overtime goal against Sweden before the Canada game. I think Quinn Hughes is kind of on a high, and I expect that to carry over throughout the rest of the season.
And watch out for the Wild in the playoffs too.
Yes.
All right, so you want to do the Art Ross, which is for the most points?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, really come down to a battle, I'd say, between you have it's 3.
I know McDavid's, he's up there.
McDavid.
Yep.
Nathan McKinnon.
Yep.
And I'm forgetting the sharpshooter in Tampa.
I would have to double check. Let me try and find it. But I know that I think McKinnon is 3rd on the odds list. And then I think that
Kucherov, I'm sorry, Nikita Kucherov.
Yes.
Who's a former winner of that. I'm going with Connor McDavid to do the double and do the Art Ross and Hart Trophy this year.
On Kalshi, actually, right now, Kucherov is leading the projections. 47% of fans thinking Kucherov is going to win the Art Ross. Connor McDavid in 2nd, McKinnon in 3rd. I go. Vasilevsky.
I go Kucherov second, probably.
Okay, so what do you have, David?
McDavid, Kucherov, McKinnon.
Okay.
How I'd have it right now, but I'm going with McDavid to win.
They got Celebrini in fourth, but that's kind of irrelevant.
What a player he is, too.
I think
he was fun to watch.
I know. I think McDavid's going to win this one, though, especially leading the league in points right now. I think he's gonna be able to finish that out. I bet McKinnon, excuse me. I'd probably pick him to be my Rocket Richard.
That's who I have.
But
he's going to get the goal scoring league.
Yeah,
yes.
I don't think anyone will catch him.
Nope.
And right now on Calshi projections, he's at 78%. 6% say Connor McDavid.
Yep.
Now for our conference winners. Or you have one more? My bad.
Yeah, the Norris Trophy, which is obviously. Oh, I already did that.
No, we did Norris.
Yep,
yeah.
I thought I had one more. Nope, but I guess we don't.
I think we covered them.
We did.
All right. So it is time for your conference. Your conference winners. Who you think is going to win? What do you want to start? East or West?
You tell me.
Let's go with the West.
Okay, that's the juggernaut. Okay, I have at least 4 teams.
Okay,
I think can come out of the West and win the Stanley Cup. Of course, we got the Wild.
Yep.
You got the Dallas Stars, who are playing great hockey right now.
They slumped a little bit at the beginning of the season, but they are coming back up. Yep. I like the Stars.
And then you're going to go to the Colorado Avalanche, who are playing fantastic hockey. And I can't rule out McDavid and the Oilers, although I would put them at 4th. I'm not sure they're going to make it this year. But hey, it's Connor McDavid.
Right.
He's carried this team 2 years in a row on his back to the Stanley Cup Finals. So
all they got to do is make the playoffs. For the Oilers to really have a chance. It's almost like that Tom Brady effect,
yep.
You know, that greatness level when you hit another level where you're, or Mahomes even, when you make the playoffs where it's like, you can't count them out kind of thing. So I like the Oilers to be that 4th option, but I think those other teams you said, Stars, I think the top 2 really are Stars and Avs. I know you're big on the Wild and the moves that Billy Guerin's made.
And my point being this, with the trade deadline a couple of weeks away, there's going to be some big swings out there. Colorado made a minor move with the Penguins yesterday, moving Gerard, the defenseman, for Kulak. Saved some money, got about $8.5 million in cap space. So they're going to take a swing, probably at a 3rd-line center.
Yes.
And there's
especially
a couple of names
to try
out
and make
there.
That deep
right, but they got
run.
Ryan O'Reilly. There's some guys, the names out there. I think Vincent Trocheck from the Rangers, another name that's floated out there. But so these teams are going to be making a move. The Wild, you've already seen how aggressive Billy Guerin is out there.
Mm-hmm.
He's in win now mode. They're going for it. So they're going to take a big swing. They went and got Quinn Hughes already. They have a great solid goaltending depth. They got a great, you saw Boldy. He scored the first goal in the final game, the gold medal game. So I really struggled between the Avalanche and the Wild, who I think are going to be the final 2 teams. But in the end, I went with the Avalanche, going back to the Cup again.
Okay.
All right.
Before the season, J-Dog and I both picked the Avalanche.
I didn't know that
to win the West. No, Doc didn't know that. And again, I chose the Avalanche today as well. I think they're just too dominant. I think the Wild are a good team. I think the Stars are really good. Mikko Rantanen is amazing. I think the talent they have in Dallas is good, but I think that
Jason Roberts, great goal scorer.
I think the Avs are just so
I think it's
dominant.
their year.
Yeah.
They got it. And Mackenzie Blackwood's been great in net for them. I think that's been a difference maker.
And they've been dominant over the past couple years, but they weren't able to get over that Oilers hump.
And a little goaltending issue, which I think they've solved with Mackenzie Blackwood now. I think he's more solid than that.
I think the Avs are going to walk through the playoffs. Maybe the Wild will be.
I'm not gonna. I would not. I would say I don't think they're gonna walk this because it's really a gauntlet. Because you do have the Dallas Stars, the Wild, the Avalanche, the Oilers. I mean, any 4 of those could be Stanley Cup finalists, right? They're good enough. But I'm going like you with the Avalanche.
Okay, we're both taking the Avs. Now the Eastern Conference, it's a little thinner. I think
weak conference.
Thinner shouldn't be the word. It should be more top heavy because those teams at the top are good.
Oh yeah,
but the teams under the top are not so good. And when you compare them to those Western teams, the Avs, the Oilers, the Stars, the Wild, none of those, the Canadians who have been bouncing up and down,
it's not their year.
No, they're not. Even if they make the playoffs, it's not their year. Like you said, they're not going to be able to take out one of those Western teams if they were to make it to the Stanley Cup final. But I think the top 2 teams are really where it sits. Maybe you could say a 3rd team in there in the East. What are your thoughts? Who do you got on your board?
I see it as the 2 dominant teams. We both talking about, obviously, the Lightning and the Hurricanes. Then you get the next tier of teams. And again, anything can happen in the playoffs. You get a hot goaltender. You have the next level of kind of the Bruins, who are playing really good hockey right before the break. And actually on the rise. Islanders with Matt Schaefer, with Ilya Sorokin. they've been very solid. That's been a surprise. And the Penguins, I got to say, have been a surprise because of how well they played. They're well into the playoff race right now.
I think they would have, and not to rub salt in the wound, because Doc is getting ready to go see the Penguins soon, but I think
against the Bruins,
I think they would have been able to make a better run if Crosby wasn't on the IR.
Look, the guy scored the golden goal. He's as money as they get. I think USA was fortunate that Sidney didn't play, just because don't want it to happen. Having him, he's that kind of guy in those kind of moments that can make a huge difference,
right.
And he's proven that over and over again. So, but it's the Bruins are playing very well.
Yes, I think the Bruins and the Penguins are two teams that are playing.
And the Islanders, I'd put those three.
Yeah, the Islanders as well.
Right.
Yes, 100%.
Because, and again, comes back to goaltending, and Penguins goaltending with the trade of Tristan Jarry, which may be the biggest heist all season. They traded Tristan Jarry and a former winger, a part player named Sam Poulin, and they got Stuart Skinner, Brent Kulak, who they flipped for a second-round pick and a defenseman and a second-round pick. So, I mean, the gift keeps giving, and Jarry was not the guy in Pittsburgh, was signed to a long-term contract. I'm amazed they actually got to move him and got value for him. So, it's part of the Kyle Dubas on the fly. The Penguins have almost $48 million in cap space next year, and I think the most picks in the first 3 rounds of any team in the next three years in the draft. So they're loading up.
Yeah, they're definitely in.
But it's not their year.
Right. They're prepping for rebuild. They're making a good run
like
this
the
year.
Bruins are doing. The Bruins are rebuilding on the fly as well.
Right. And I think that's honestly, that might be the future of, trying to have a good organization, is trying to be rebuilding on the fly instead of being like, all right, the next 5 years are rebuild. Like, you don't want to just completely destroy what you've got. But I think the Penguins are doing a good job at blending.
As are the Bruins now. They're
exactly.
looking. They're rumored to be making a big swing here very soon too.
Well, they've got, they had Geeky. I feel like he's been the one who's really stepped up for the Bruins team this year.
30 goals scored 2 years in a row. Come on.
I feel like Geeky's been a huge part of the team being as successful as they are.
That's why they signed him, and it was a very team-friendly contract. So good for the Bruins and Don Sweeney on that one.
Yes. Well, I think it is a 2-team race. Like we were saying, I think it's between the Lightning and the Canes. For me personally, I chose them at the beginning of the season. I'm going to stick with them now, despite I think the Lightning being better. I'm going to go with the Canes. I think the Canes, they've been competitive and getting more competitive over the past 2 or 3 seasons. And I think when it gets to the end of the season, not that the Lightning haven't been there, recently either, but I think when it gets towards the Eastern Conference Finals, I feel like the Canes, just with their recent experience, that recent push they've had over the past couple of years, it'll come into play in the playoffs when it gets down to the wire.
Okay. I'm going with you on the fact that those are the 2 top teams. I think one of the things that have held Carolina back over the last couple of years, Freddie Anderson was a really good goalie, but not good enough to get him over the hump. And they got Brandon Bussi. Okay, great. Yeah, the Bruins let him go. He's having, the Bruins, a couple of ex-Bruins are doing very well. Goalies. You have Vlad in Philadelphia. And you got Buzzy, who they just signed to an extension, and he's playing great hockey. He really, came in, won his first 10 games or something. But I got to love the experience of the Lightning. They've been there multiple times. They have a head coach who was the silver medal coach on Canada. John Cooper is a great coach. I think he's the longest tenured coach in the National Hockey League right now. Got a great team. Kucherov, the guy's a goal scoring leader and a threat every year. They got Hedman back now on defense.
Both of us,
one pick.
Both of us picked, the Lightning to have the Vezina winner too.
Yeah, and Vasilevsky's playing out of his mind again this year. He's back to that crazy good. And I just don't see Florida doing it again. I think they're burnt. So my pick's going to be John Cooper and the Tampa Bay Lightning. This will be a rematch of the 2022 Stanley Cup final between the Lightning and the Avalanche, which the Avalanche won.
Ooh, well, exciting. So is that who you're going with?
I'm going for the win?
For the win, for the big one, the big
I'm going
Lord Stanley's trophy.
For Lord Stanley. Lord Stanley, bring me the brandy. Colorado Avalanche.
I am also going with the Avs. That was my preseason pick. I had to pick the Avs. I just feel like they're due, kind of like you said. They've been competitive the past couple of years. Stanley Cup champions just a few years ago. We're going to get that rematch between the Avs and the Lightning, and I just feel like they're competitive to the point where they have been that number 2 team behind the Oilers those past couple seasons.
Yep.
And now with the Panthers out of the mix and the Oilers, like we said, kind of on the back burner, they've got Connor McDavid in their pocket.
That's why you can never count them out.
Right. But I think that I agree with you. I don't think it's the Oilers year. They can make the playoffs, but I don't think they'll make a deep enough run. I think the Avs just from front to back of the entire team. All four lines, I feel like, are unstoppable.
And Joe Sackett's going to make a trade. Again, I told you he's had $8.5 million in cap space now saved up. They're going to take a swing. They're probably going for a third line center, and that's really their only weakness. I mean, they are loaded. They got Cale Makar, who's the best defenseman in the National Hockey League. Mackenzie Blackwood has stepped up in goal and been a difference maker for them, and that's what they were really missing, I think, which has been an Achilles heel for Edmonton over the years as well. So,
tell me, did you pick Makar for your Norris Trophy, or did you pick Hughes? Who did you pick for your Norris Trophy?
I picked Hughes.
I picked Hughes too. I just couldn't remember what you said.
Makar is great, and he's I just think the way I mentioned that Hughes has just played so well. And you just saw it here over in the Olympics as well. I mean, he's just, from a defensive position, the guys, he can skate. He logs 24 minutes a night. He's got a deadly shot. I mean, he never came off the ice in one of those overtimes. He's amazing.
Real quick, how many games?
Oh, the Stanley Cup final game? I'm going to say, let's go. It's a rematch of 2022. It went in 6 that year. It's going 7 this year.
Okay, Avs in 7.
Avs in 7.
I'll take Avs in 6. A little gentleman's bet there. Avs in 6. And